DC Comics and Sonic the Hedgehog have come together for an epic comic book crossover. To celebrate, Jakks Pacific has released an entire series of action figures, and today I'm taking a look at the Batman and Shadow 2-pack. Welcome to 5 Points of Articulation. Starting with the packaging, and we've got a blister card, DC X Sonic logos up top, a shadowy city in the background, along with graphics for Batman, and Shadow as Batman. We also get the character names here. Also notice the Hall of Justice in the background. Flipping around back, we got a lot going on, including figure photography, a synopsis of the crossover, a breakdown of their points of articulation, as well as other sets including Cyborg and Tails, with Superman and Knuckles. For those hoping to find their figures in store, here's the UPC, and grading on a curve since this is for kids. For packaging, Batman and Shadow get 5 points. Moving on to presentation, and let's bust this blister open. Batman stands at 5 inches, or just under 13 centimeters, with Shadow clocking in at 2.5 inches, or 6.5 centimeters. Obviously, the main novelty of a collection like this is seeing Sonic the Hedgehog characters in DC costumes. For me as a DC collector, though, the big novelty is having a Batman figure by Jakks Pacific. To the best of my knowledge, this is the first time they've ever done one at this scale, with their other DC offerings being large-scale big figs and things like that. For a first and possibly only crack at the scale of a Batman, I think they've gone above and beyond. Admittedly, some of the proportions are a little wonky, the arms and hands being a bit big, and the head being a bit small, but as a general Batman figure, there's a lot to love here. It's the Rebirth design, so we have that version of the emblem. Same thing with the utility belt. Unfortunately, mine is a bit crooked and I can't find a way of straightening it, but that means they also carved in the extra seam lines and painted the inside of the cape purple. Speaking of paint, they added shading to some of the musculature, and not only is the figure double jointed, it's also pinless. So yeah, in some ways this kid's figure is better than a DC multiverse. Oversized as they may be, I appreciate the detail on the gloves and gauntlets, and also the treads on the boots. Proportions aside, the boots are actually my only other criticism, mainly how the boot cut breaks up the sculpt, but with the boots being black it doesn't stand out as much as it could, and I'd also be a liar if I said I didn't appreciate having more articulation. Back up to the head though, and even though it's a bit out of scale, I still like it. The mask has the angles, shapes, and wrinkles that you could want. Based on just how clean the lines are and also the waxiness of the skin, I actually think the jaw might be separate. In general, it's just a good all-around Batman face. Shifting over to Shadow, and this is a lot of fun. Jakks Pacific really excels at capturing that cartoony style in 3 dimensions, so Shadow has a lot of personality. Crossing him with Batman just feels like a perfect match, and I'm not just saying that because both were voiced by Keanu Reeves. Just like the larger Batman, we've got that Rebirth style logo and belt. They also didn't skip the purple. Flipping him around back, we can see his quills. One added detail are the Sonic style rings around the wrists and ankles. Really pops out against the black and gray. They also gave him the little knee pads and put lots of details in the shoes. More so than what Batman got anyway. There are peg holes in the feet, but I don't think I have any stands small enough for them. Either way though, and they did a really good job on these. In fact, and proportion issues aside, for presentation I'm giving Batman and Shadow 5 points. Before we continue, if you're enjoying this video so far, do me a favor and give it a like. Moving on to Poseability, and honestly, I am blown away by the effort the Jakks Pacific made here. From the top, and Batman's head is on a ball joint and a disc swivel. Despite the bunched up cape, and he can look all the way up, which is more than I was expecting. For contrast, and here's looking straight ahead, and then here's how far down he can bury the chin. No tilt, unfortunately, but he does get all the way around. Moving down, and Batman can raise his arms this high, but I can't help but wonder if he might get even more if it wasn't for the cape. Despite that cape though, he does still get complete rotation. He's also got rotator cuffs similar to a DC multiverse. I don't know if I've ever seen that in a figure this small before. Additionally, and there's bicep swivel, and while they might not have the deepest bend in the world, the elbows are still double jointed and pinless, and then at the end of the arms the wrists can swivel and hinge either up or down. Moving to the middle, and Batman has a diaphragm joint and a ball jointed waist. Not much of an arch back, but there's a little bit there. Hair standing straight so you can see the difference. He's also got a bit forward, which really blows my mind. That on top of side to side tilt, and and twist at both the diaphragm and also the waist. Below the crooked utility belt, and Batman has ball-jointed hips. He can kick in the ballpark of 90 degrees, only this far back, but that's not bad. More surprisingly, he gets a near-perfect split. Work on our way down the leg, and we've also got thigh cut, so that means complete rotation there. Those pinless double-jointed knees have a very nice deep bend, and while aesthetically I might not like the boot cut, it does its job. No toe articulation, but his ankle can hinge, and like me starting to wish that Jakks Pacific got the DC license instead of Mattel, pivot. Now, Shadow, of course, is a different story. The box says he has 5 points of articulation, though I would argue he technically has more. Getting ahead of myself, though, and from the top I think he has a ball joint in the neck, but yeah, you're not getting any up and down. Side to side is no trouble, though. Otherwise, and all he has are the shoulders and hips, but these are swivel hinge. So yeah, you can turn him around, but you can also move up and down. Again, being strictly technical here, that is 2 joints. Not just the spin, but also the kick. Point being, though, that for a little guy like this, I'm pretty impressed. So much so that for Poseability, I'm giving Shadow and Batman 5 points. Moving on to Playability, and that's a different story. Neither one comes with any accessory or play feature, and with this being a 5-inch figure, there really aren't a whole lot of other toy lines you can mix and match them with. That said, if you get all of them, I guess it makes a nice little set. I also have to imagine there's going to be another wave. At the very least, we have to get Sonic himself with the Flash. Of course, as I always say, Playability is more than just accessories. It's also about how well your figures play with others. In the absence of any modern 5-inch scale toy lines, here's the old Legends of Batman Joker by Kenner, and in the spirit of Sonic, the Flash from Batman Total Justice. Bringing out the old superposable animated Spider-Man, and I gotta tell you, if I had a Batman like this when I was a kid, my brain would have melted. That said, it's always nice to add to my all-important super scientific Rebirth Batman scale. For a Keanu Reeves comparison though, and here's Batman in Shadow with Berserker B by McFarlane Toys. Whoa, whoa, whoa. For a relative scale comparison, here they are with Pizza Spidey and the Spectacular Spider-Man. And as always, here they are with Stealth Iron Man. Are there other small-scale Sonic figures that would go with this guy? Probably, but I don't have them. And while there is a box set with Darkseid, unless Jakks Pacific does another wave with Green Lantern, Wonder Woman, and Flash, this Batman's gonna be pretty lonely. With limited play value beyond just kind of having each other, for Playability I'm giving this set a still okay 3 points. You know, it occurs to me, with John Wick being the voice of Batman, I think I figured out how to get Batman to break his one rule. This leaves us with nothing left to discuss but the rings, I mean price. The 2 packs are $20 each, with the larger standalone Sonic characters going for $15. I could see some parents or gift shoppers balk at that $20 price tag, but this is still a nice set and I think pretty reasonable. To be honest, it's kind of worth the price of admission just for Batman himself. Full disclosure, how well this video does will determine whether or not I look at the other sets, but even if I don't, I'm still glad I got this one. Whether you're a fan of DC, Sonic the Hedgehog, or both, it's a lot of fun. For price, I'm giving Batman and Shadow 4 points, averaging out to a pretty good total of 4.4 out of 5. Agree? Disagree? Sound off in the comments because I really want to hear your opinion on this one. For more videos, check out one of these, and until next time, play nice and have fun. DC Comics and Sonic. For presentation, I'm giving Sonic and Batman. Nope, not Sonic. Unless Jakks Pacific does another wave with Green